How's it going, everybody? I'm Steve and welcome back. So this is going to be my last video for 2024. I'm recording this on Monday night. Obviously, you want to get these videos out before the new year, you know. So it's going to be out by New Year's Eve, but I'm excited about this. This is actually, I'm going to talk about 10 titles that I picked up in the year 2024. Some of these movies were released in 2024. Actually, 5 of them are. And the other 5 are movies that were released, like re-releases in this year, or I think one was released last year and got released on video, on 4K or Blu-ray this year. So, but I'm excited about this. There's actually 2 criterions in this list too. And the criterions are actually both blind buys. Typically, I take risk with that label, but I don't. With a lot of these other movies, they're ones I saw in the theater and I decided I wanted to buy them. Okay, so at number 10, this one was actually released in 2024. It's a movie that I actually didn't love the first time I saw it. It took me like the second viewing before I really liked it. But this is from director Ty West, and the movie is Maxine. This is very interesting. It's starring Mia Goth. Kevin Bacon's really great in this movie too. But this one, I'd still say that Pearl is technically probably the best movie. Compared to this one, probably better than this one. I still like X more than all 3 of these, but when I watched this the second time, I enjoyed this so much more at home. The third act is what kind of bothered me the first time I saw this, but it didn't bother me so much. That's kind of strange how movies, when you're kind of on the fence about them, after you watch them a couple more times, some of the flaws don't really bother you as much, you know. Okay, so at number 9, you get another polarizing movie here from 2024. This is from director Osgood Perkins, and the movie is Longlegs. In this movie, you get the absolutely nuts Nicolas Cage. That's the way we like to see Nicolas Cage that way. And Micah Monroe's really great in this. I've only seen her in like an indie horror film so far, and I've really liked her performance in this one. This one, when I first saw it, I compared it to like Silence of the Lambs and Seven. Those are the first 2 movies that came to mind when I watched this. But it's also kind of unique in some ways. It takes place in the 90s. This one has a commentary from Osgood Perkins, and obviously he's Anthony Perkins' son. So I really enjoyed that. So a lot of the special features are really great in this movie. Okay, so at number 8, I have another polarizing movie. This one's from 2024. Actually, an Australian production. It has looks like brothers Colin and Cameron Carnes or Carnies, and the movie's called Late Night with the Devil. This one's it has starring David Dastmalchian. He's actually the only American in this movie. He plays Jack Delroy. This one, very interesting. Last time I did a video, I asked people if they liked the way this looked on 4K, and nobody answered. So to me, this is the kind of movie that doesn't really work on 4K, in my opinion. This actually has a commentary from Jack Delroy, and I think the Australian production has the brothers, the directors, actually do the commentary. So I was excited to get this one. It's on Blu-ray. Like I said, I don't know if I would really want this on 4K necessarily, but I like the fact that Jack Delroy actually did the commentary. All right, so number 7, this one's actually a Criterion release. It's Spy Number 26 from 1980, and the movie's called The Long Good Friday. This one was a blind buy. Apparently, this is considered to be like one of the British best like crime movies ever, I guess, or it's ranked really high. This one's starring Bob Hoskins as Helen Mirren. I enjoy this one a lot. Like I said, it's a blind buy. Like I said, it's a Spy Number 26, so it's one of the really early ones. I know that Kyle's movie collection. He's been collecting all the Criterions, and he has I think he told me he has at least 600 Criterions. He actually had the DVD of this, because it was on DVD and out of print for years, and then finally Criterion released it on Blu-ray and 4K in 2024. All right, so number 6, this one was actually released in theaters in 2023, but released in the Criterion Collection in 2024. It's Spy Number 1226. The movie is Perfect Days. This one was actually directed by Wim Wenders. He's a German director, but it was filmed in Japan. And if you know Wim Wenders, he actually speaks English. I know he speaks German as well. But he's apparently he got fascinated with Japan back in the 70s, so he decided to make a movie in that country. But it's a very, very charming kind of movie, very basic film. For Japan, a Japanese film, it's actually not heavily driven by dialogue. It has a lot of American music and some Japanese music in it as well. So it's a movie. It's very easy to follow. So anybody that's kind of afraid to watch something that's got subtitles, you're not reading a lot of dialogue in the movie, and the story's really easy to follow. All right, so at number 5, this is a movie I've actually owned several times in my life. I've seen it several times. It's from 1979. It's actually from director Alan Arkish. The movie's called Rock and Roll High School. This one I've owned on DVD. I had it on Blu-ray before. upgraded again to this one's actually the 4K release. It has a Blu-ray with it as well, and it has like there's like 5 commentaries on this. I think there were like 4 on there before, and then there was like a new one from I think some kind of like a reviewer or something like just a fan of the movie and a guy that's actually written books about Rock and Roll High School. So I enjoyed that a lot. Just it gave me an excuse to actually watch it 6 times. Okay, so at number 4, this one actually is one I had on DVD. It's from 1998 from director Sam Raimi. The movie's called A Simple Plan. Very interesting movie. Like I said, it has a great cast: Bill Paxton, Billy Bob Thornton, Bridget Fonda. This movie actually reunites Billy Bob Thornton and Bill Paxton from a movie called One False Move. And this movie has always kind of frustrated me. It's really the story. I think it's a really good story. It's just that the things they go through in this movie is just crazy, and it's just it'll frustrate you by the end of the movie. It's like, oh wow, just what they go through, and it's just nuts. But I highly recommend it if you haven't seen it. Like I said, it's from Sam Raimi, so I think it's a great movie. Okay, so at number 3, this one I actually had on DVD at one time, but then got rid of it. I think I planned on buying it on Blu-ray at some point, but never did. But from 1984, the movie is called A Nightmare on Elm Street. This one's from director Wes Craven. Obviously, it has the iconic Freddy, played by Robert Englund. It has Heather Langenkamp, John Saxon. I think it's actually the first movie from Johnny Depp. But it's great. To me, Freddy you can take him the most seriously in this movie. Later on, he became way more campy. And obviously, the character is really dark. So I guess they wanted to add humor to kind of lighten the mood, sort of, because otherwise people would think it was way too dark. But to me, this has always been my favorite. Okay, so at number 2, this one's from 2024. It's from director Sean Levy. The movie's called Deadpool and Wolverine. This is obviously a Marvel film. It's has Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman, has Emma Corrin. If you've seen Nosferatu recently, which apparently is a very polarizing kind of movie. Apparently, she's in that movie as well. I thought she was great as the villain in this movie. But this one, when I saw it in the theater, I actually saw it like 3 or 4 times in the theater, and I thought maybe the jokes would kind of get old after a while, but after watching it like 4 or 5 times now, it keeps getting better every time I see it. So for some reason, it's one that's kind of grown on me even more, even though I loved it the first time I saw it. So obviously, this one's great on 4K. Okay, so at number 1, I actually saw this one like 3 times in the theater in 2024. This one's from director Denis Villeneuve, and the movie is Dune Part 2. This one I thought was outstanding. I really like Part 1. Part 1 had like a ton of exposition, and Part 2 was like pretty much all action. Everything pays off in this one that you saw in Part 1. I love this one. Obviously, it has Timothée Chalamet. If you've seen Complete Unknown, he plays Bob Dylan in a movie this year. So he has like 2 big movies this year, and I think that one's not doing extremely well at the theater, and it should. I think he might get an Oscar nomination for that one, but he might get an Oscar nomination for this one as well. This one's definitely going to get a lot of nominations. Going to get a Best Picture nomination. Who knows about Timothée Chalamet, if he's going to win something? Who knows? But the director, I think, should win something. But Zendaya is really good in this movie. Rebecca Ferguson, Austin Butler is really great in this movie. Thought he was an outstanding villain. You really wouldn't recognize him in this movie. Josh Brolin, Florence Pugh. It's so great, though. Like I said, the pacing is really great in this movie. I love the way it looks on 4K, and like I said, I like the first one a lot. I know a lot of people that didn't like the first one, but I really like that one. But this one I liked so much more. Okay, everybody, thank you for watching tonight. I actually had like 2 other movies I didn't include tonight because I haven't actually opened those movies yet. So you'll see sometime in January I'll reveal what those are. But please, if you're not already subscribed to my channel, please consider doing that. Please put a thumbs up on this video, and everybody have a Happy New Year.